Hello, hello, and welcome to the weekly energy update for the week of October 6, 2024. I'm Renee Spears, a spirit guide channeler and spiritual mentor, and I'm coming to you from beautiful Bozeman, Montana. Every Sunday, I share the energy for the week ahead, and I also infuse the show with some positive vibes, so you get a little positive energy boost just for listening. And we made it through the intense eclipse season. And yes, we'll still be in eclipse energy for the next couple weeks and working our way through all the new changes, but each day the energy gets less and less. So this week, the planets are moving. On Wednesday, Jupiter goes retrograde, and then on Friday, Pluto, who has been retrograde, goes direct. So let's start with Jupiter. So on Wednesday the 9th, lucky and abundant Jupiter goes retrograde in Gemini for the next 5 months. And to understand what happens when Jupiter is retrograde, it helps to wrap your head around how it functions when it's direct or moving forward. Jupiter is the planet of abundance and expands everything it comes in contact with. It's basically the planet of YOLO, you only live once. It makes you feel optimistic about everything. And just like any planet, when it's moving forward, we feel it most in an external way. On the flip side, when Jupiter is retrograde, its effects are more internal, psychological, and emotional. Jupiter retrograde is less concerned with the things happening in your outside world, like your work responsibilities, your love life, your living situation, and more interested in inner work and self-reflection. Now, we won't feel this energy as much as a full moon or a Mercury retrograde. Jupiter's effects tend to build over the course of its long retrograde, and it spends a good chunk of the year in retrograde, so it's something we're used to and we're familiar with dealing with. Jupiter is a planet of expansion, and when it goes retrograde, it wants us to go back over the past and reflect on what we may have missed the first time around. So we're getting second chances. So if there's anything you wish you would have done, you get another chance to do it now. It's also the planet of philosophy, and it rules over our higher mind. So when it's retrograde, it's not uncommon to change our way of thinking and be open to new ideas and realizations. We may have always believed one thing, but then slowly see that there are other possibilities or ideas. Instead of external things in our life expanding when Jupiter is direct, when it's retrograde, our minds expand. So for the next 5 months, this is the perfect time to read more books, watch documentaries, and have deep discussions with people who think differently than you. If there's anything you've been wanting to know more about, this is the time to learn it. Jupiter will retrograde back from 21 degrees of Gemini to 11 degrees of Gemini. Now, these degrees influence our communication and the way we express ourselves. So we may choose to change how we communicate. Maybe we call our friends more often, or start a blog or a podcast, or share more or less of our feelings with others. On a deeper level, these degrees of Gemini are also connected to our spiritual side and how we balance the journey of being a soul with our journey of being a human. We can easily get caught up in the material human world. And when this happens, that's usually when we start feeling crappy, when we get anxious and worried. But if we can pull out a little bit and look at the soul journey, things always make more sense. I know I've said this before on the podcast, but I want to remind you again that there were godzillions of souls that wanted to incarnate during this time. And we won the soul lotto to be able to be here for this experience. Now keep that in mind over the next month, because the big shift this week, this month, this year, and so far this decade is Pluto's move into Aquarius. This is a big effing deal. Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008, and it's been retrograde for the past 5 months. Now it starts to move forward again in Capricorn for the last month in our lifetime. Next month in November, Pluto moves into Aquarius where it will stay until 2043. So this final month of Pluto's journey through Capricorn is likely to be the most extreme and intense of the entire transit. It will bring up everything that needs to be released and transformed so we can let it go. So during a Pluto retrograde like we've been in, we usually get the chance to make some voluntary changes, like usually letting go of something or someone before we're forced into it. Now that Pluto's retrograde is ending, this breathing space comes to an end. it may feel as though things are spiraling out of control and that change is being forced upon us. So over the past 16 years, while Pluto has been in Capricorn, it's been transforming Capricorn themes like power structures, authority, government, and business, the foundations of our society. And now as it gets ready to leave Capricorn, the transformation of these things will intensify. And there is no coincidence that this is all taking place as we lead up to the election in a month. Now you may be thinking, oh shit, what's coming? We'll feel out of control and the foundations of our society are transforming? What are we in for? But keep in mind that we need change. You may not have noticed, but things are a little fucked up right now. We need some shifts in power structures. We need some shifts in politics. We need some changes in how wealth is distributed. The fabulous news is that Pluto is moving into Aquarius, pushing us toward a more humanitarian world. This shift will bring progress, innovation, and transformation to our societies. The focus will be on the evolution of humanity, more equal societies, and the evolution of our collective consciousness. We finally get it that we're all in this together. So if you get overwhelmed with the politics and the craziness in the world right now, remember where we're going. Try to take a step back and look at this all on the soul level. We're moving from control, Capricorn, into liberation, Aquarius. We're being freed from oppression, restrictions, and limitations. We're breaking free from things that have been holding us back, whether it's a government, a belief system, or a personal limitation. So we get one final push of crazy this month to realize this is not what we want and decide to get our collective shit together. And then Pluto moves into Aquarius, bringing us all closer to the world we really want to live in. So on a personal level, we're transforming too. This is the time to release limiting beliefs, step into your power, live more authentic lives, and embrace change and transformation. It's all great stuff. So to recap, these are the last moments of Pluto and Capricorn in our lifetime. It may be intense, but it's bringing the changes that we need to live in a much better, fairer, more compassionate, awakened world. Also this week, Jupiter goes retrograde, giving us second chances and expanding our minds and how we think. If you want to expand your mind and learn more about astrology and your personal chart, you're in luck. This week, Astrology 101 classes start. I'm hosting the classes with the amazing astrologer Teresa Tran. She taught a couple classes during Spiritual Summer School and was absolutely fantastic. So I've invited her back to teach us the basics of astrology. Teresa will guide us through understanding our astrology charts in 3 fun workshops. It's only $50 for all 3 classes. And you can get more details at Abundology.com or check the link in the show notes. And there's always something new we can learn from our charts. I was born with Venus retrograde, and my whole life I've never really cared about how I look. I know this is weird, and since all of my girlfriends and the rest of the world does, I thought there was something wrong with me. Like I've been to the therapist to see if maybe this was caused by low self-esteem or something else was wrong with me. And then a couple years ago, I learned that people born with Venus retrograde don't care as much about how they look. And this was so freeing. So even if you know your chart pretty well, there's always something new to learn. So I hope you join us for the classes. Once again, there's a link in the show notes to sign up. As always, thank you for listening and passing the podcast on to a friend. I'm taking advantage of all the beautiful weather while it's here and going to highlight for a hike today. So have a great week, everyone, and I will talk to you again next week.